people want these things to be so true. They're like, I'm in this meeting, dressed in, ceremony regalia, giving them some sort of like
no shoes,
handwritten on parchment demand list of people they need to sign. Like, listen, I think objectively, a lot of people can look at Alan Lazard and go, he's a really good player. We would love to have him on our team. And then anybody with a brain would maybe call me on any team and go, hey, what kind of locker room guy is Alan Lazard? What's his work ethic like? And I'd say he's a great dude.
Oh.
Dude, anybody would be lucky to have him in the locker room. And if somebody asked me about Big Dog or Kabi, or I don't even know who else was on that list, I'd say the same thing.
Jordan.
Odell.
Dudes.
Oh, Odell.
I mean, first of all, who wouldn't want to have Odell on their team? Like,
agreed. Yeah, he'd be cool.
Like, come on. But what are we talking about here? I don't have demands. Look, my only demand is for transparency.
Connor Rodgers, no relation. Obviously, very close to all things.
You don't know that?
New York.
Do you know that? Do you know that for sure?
Oh, I mean, no, actually, I don't. I assumed it. Are you related to Aaron Rodgers? See, he spells it different. That's a different spelling. You're not related to Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, look at you, Dorn. I knew he wasn't related. Anyway, Connor Rodgers, no D. So, close to all things New York Jets. We were just talking about, like, basically whose obligation is it to get this thing done. I feel like it's the Jets' obligation to step up to the plate and meet the Packers closer to where they are, even if they're on the other side of reasonable, because the Jets have reached the point of no return with their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers.
It's tricky. I think the answer lies somewhere in between with both until we know what the actual trade demands are. That's the biggest question right now. Are the Jets lowballing them and saying, hey, you could take a conditional third-round pick and maybe for 2024 and a third-rounder this year, and that's a wrap because he doesn't want to do anything else. It's too late to get another team involved. That didn't help Green Bay's leverage. But at the same time, Green Bay is in a situation where they know the Jets need him, want him, and that thing's already a wrap over there. So I think there's a lot to break down here, guys. Number one, you look at the salary cap hits. If the Packers traded him, say, today or any time before June, they would take on a $40 million dead cap hit. Do they just want to get that out of the way now, be done with it, because this is the roster they're comfortable with? And they could also split it up. If they trade him after June 1st, then it's about a $15 million dead cap hit this year, a $25 million dead cap hit next year. So this thing drags on for them. Another thing, $60 million in cash, I know it doesn't mean anything to fans. It means something to owners, and the Packers have no interest in paying that. And the Jets, by all accounts, appear to be willing to pay that $60 million signing bonus, I believe the fourth highest in NFL history. So while, yes, the Packers hold the cards in terms of when they can send him, we are also on a clock here where doesn't Green Bay want some kind of draft compensation for this year? The longer it drags out, they get no draft pick for the 2023 draft, an asset that you would think can help replenish some of the skill guys around their young quarterback in Jordan Love. So this is one of those scenarios where it's all over the place, and it would help both sides to find common ground as soon as they can.
What would you do, though? If you're the Jets, you say, look, I just want to end this. I want to make sure Aaron Rodgers comes in, works with our offensive rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson, learns the offense, works with Hackett again. What would you be willing to give up if you're the Jets that's reasonable?
Here's what I think is fair. I think a second-round pick this year, which is a top 50 pick, and then I think the 2024 pick has to be on conditional terms because you don't send first-round picks for rentals. I don't care who it is. You don't do it. It's not a precedent that has been set in this league very often. It's not. Aaron Rodgers might not play after this year. So if you're the Jets,
I think
you
start. That's not the Packers' problem.
So what?
and the Packers
Aaron
know
Rodgers.
that.
Hey, man, this is Aaron Rodgers.
Tell the Packers about Rodgers might not play after this year. They know that all too well.
Hey, like John Hamm said in The Town, we're a national organization. Okay, this is a national MVP winning quarterback. You better check his CV. You better Google Aaron Rodgers. Yes, you're going to give up a first round pick, even if it's for a year, for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that's the holdup, Connor.
I'm telling you guys, I'll be floored if the 13th overall pick in this draft is in this trade. My jaw.
No, not 13. No, not this year. No, not this year. Next year. You can give him next year's. You can give him a second this year, like you said, and give him next year's first, which will probably be late because he will take you to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Right,
and I think
maybe.
that's part of the conditional terms is how far do the Jets
Yeah.
go this year is where the pick can climb up to a first-round pick, and I think that's something the Jets will hold out for, and I think on the other side, the Packers will hold out trying to get a first-round pick to save face. But how ugly does this thing get, right? It's pretty clear Aaron Rodgers is not a fan of the Packers' current GM and Brian Gutekunst. And how ugly does this thing continue to get? Does he go on Pat McAfee every Tuesday? And you're talking about a relationship.
He's already done that. It can't be any uglier than it was last offseason.
Packer, it's a dangerous place to be, and I understand the Packers hold the cards, but how many times have we seen franchise legends go down this road? And if Green Bay just doesn't care about that,
his predecessor. I mean, they shouldn't because they've been through this already. They've been through this once before in that market, in that franchise. How ugly was it with Favre? Favre came back in a freaking Minnesota Vikings uniform. And guess what? Nobody cares. It's like, listen, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers in green as opposed to green and gold. It'd be great to see him on the Jets. It'd be a great story. It'd be fun to watch. But if you're the Green Bay Packers, take your conditions and stick them. Because I'm not looking for you to assign conditions to a two-time MVP quarterback and already win this year, but a four-time MVP quarterback for his career and be like, yeah, if we go to the playoffs. No, you want him, come get him. You want him, come get him, New York. This ain't don't make us the bad guy. See, look, I'm better at this than Brian Gutekunst. Brian Gutekunst ain't got to say nothing. I got you.
Don't
make us the bad guy. We ain't holding it up. The Jets are holding it up. If they would come correct for that guy, this would be over, but they won't. They're trying to lowball us. As unreasonable as the Packers are, to your point, Connor, how do we know the Jets aren't trying to, relatively speaking, lowball for Aaron Rodgers?
That's the golden question. I would love to know where these talks actually are. Are they in a place where it's completely unreasonable for the Packers?
We
They're
know
not
that.
even close right now. And have the Packers walked back terms? We've heard conflicting reports that this trade was agreed upon in terms of terms for them to allow him to speak to the Jets. A lot of teams don't let their franchise quarterback speak to teams unless they have a trade agreed to. We saw that with Derek Carr and the Saints before the Raiders cut him. So I would love to know the optics here. And I'll say this. I don't think it was a good look for team president Mark Murphy to come out and say, essentially, that they've moved on before we ever even heard from Aaron Rodgers. He didn't hold his cards to the vest at all. So it just seems like bad optics from all sides involved. And sure, the Packers can hold on, but do they want this to drag out to the summer? They get no 2023 draft compensation. And then Aaron Rodgers is going to show up for 60 million reasons. Do you want that at training camp with Jordan in the Jordan Love era? I just think the longer this goes, it gets messier for both sides, and they need to figure it out.
Favre was going to show up too, and they told him no. This is Aaron Rodgers' team now. I got one more. Go ahead, Mike. I got one more thing on the Jets. But
I just want to I want to ask Connor about great optics, and what I would call is like something akin to a psychic boost that Aaron Rodgers said yesterday. I want to be with the New York Jets. And you think about it, the last time anybody said that was, who didn't have a previous connection to the Jets. I know Darrelle Revis left, and then he came back probably a year or two too late. But this is we're talking about Rex Ryan era Jets, really. Connor, what does it mean that somebody of Aaron Rodgers' stature said publicly, I want to be a Jet?
I think it galvanizes the entire roster. We've seen it publicly on Twitter from the young guys that mean the most of this team. Garrett Wilson, the offensive rookie of the year. Sauce Gardner, the defensive rookie of the year. Elijah Moore, who did not have a great second season. We know his confidence would be back up, and your expectations entirely change. You're not happy to just put up stats. Your goal is to make it to the Super Bowl. So I think having him come in, especially after all of the bad things they went through this year at the quarterback position with Zach Wilson and with a carousel of guys that just underperformed, would completely change the confidence, the outlook for the franchise, a franchise that, let's be real, in the last 10 years, they haven't had anything to celebrate. They're going to have the longest playoff drought, not just in the NFL, but in all of sports. So this is obviously a bit of a leap of faith for Rodgers, and something where the Jets know that they needed to get this done when they had that meeting with him by telling him, hey, we're all in on whatever we can do for you if you can come here. And that's already begun with getting Alan Lazard, who they essentially swapped out Corey Davis's money. And Corey Davis has had his injury problems for a couple of years now, where they feel better about that move. But if they land the Rodgers trade, I think that trend will continue.
A couple more things before we get you out of here, Connor. last thing on the Jets, though, they took their time with Carr. Carr ended up taking his talents to New Orleans. For whatever reason, they don't seem to be at all interested, or haven't been at all interested, in pursuing Lamar Jackson, who comes with his own complications, obviously, from a contractual standpoint. Like, why didn't the Jets even inquire about or look into Lamar? Just not a fit? I mean, what, you know, because they put all their eggs in this Rodgers basket, and again, the Packers know that. Why didn't they look at Lamar Jackson, or haven't they looked at Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, it's a great question because obviously a 26-year-old former MVP should be everybody's option number one, no matter what. And it's interesting how Lamar has not seemed to have that interest before that negotiating window even opened. It seemed like a no-brainer, and it makes me wonder a couple things. Number one, of course, what everybody else is thinking, is there something going on with the owners and not setting a precedent of another guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson? And that's a scenario that, if true, is extremely, extremely ugly for the NFL and really, really disappointing. And then, of course, option number two as well, which is a little bit more Jets focused. Joe Douglas has a relationship with Baltimore that is extremely significant. And I think we just proved that. They basically got a starting safety in Chuck Clark for free at a low cost. There's a relationship there that's different. Does Joe Douglas know that no matter what the Jets do, Baltimore is going to match that number, and then the Jets would be left with literally nothing on the quarterback market? Because let's not forget, Lamar Jackson's negotiating window didn't open up until Wednesday, and then there's a 5-day period in between that. So by the time Baltimore matches it, everybody's gone anyway. So the problem is within the roots of the league with the non-exclusive franchise tag window. That 5-day period should not exist. It hurts the player. It hurts the player's leverage and actually closes the amount of teams that should be interested because they'd be playing a dangerous game thinking, hey, there's a good chance we don't get him anyway.
And I never criticize him for not having an agent, but one would be handy right now because the agent would have all those deals lined up because they couldn't speak to him until yesterday. They could have talked to his agent a long time ago.
Michael, that would have been done in Indy, wherever he was going.
Exactly.
If he had an agent.
Even if illegally. Exactly. Even if illegally, they could have talked to him, right? Hey, speaking of Indy, you and I were both there when Jalen Carter had to get out of there because of his situation down in Georgia. Of course, he's pleaded no contest in connection with that deadly crash. He'll get probation. But on the field, struggled with position drills at Georgia's Pro Day. 9 pounds over what he weighed in at Indianapolis. I'm wondering what's the status of his draft stock? Because for all the talk about the quarterbacks going early, arguably the most talented player is a defensive lineman out of Georgia, Jalen Carter. What's up with him?
It's real, and he's falling. And it's an unfortunate situation for a guy that is the most talented player in the draft. And you know what? Maybe he can get things together in these next 6 weeks. It looked like he should not have participated at all on that pro day. If he was overweight with all the circumstances going on, he should have had a private workout before the draft, which is what guys do if they're nagging a little injury during the combine. They just need a little bit more time to get right, whether it's off the field stuff, whether it's just they need that extended period of training. Jalen Carter obviously participating in the pro day did not work out for him. Sounds like it was a bad 9 pounds. He's obviously dealing with the off the field issues as well. Teams are really trying to dig in and say, is this just a young guy with maturity issues, or is there an extended, consistent pattern here? And that's what they have to answer. But the reason I can tell you that he is starting to fall is out of the teams in the top 8, I only found one that has him on the board right now, would consider taking him. And that's scary. That's a significant fall. Now, he's too talented to make it out of the top 15, top 20. Yeah, they would take multiple players over him. Yeah, they were like Will Anderson,
so
Tyree Wilson, the top corners, the quarterbacks. They're all going over him right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because like you
that
took him off the board. No, we got you. He's sliding down their board.
Not in the top 10.
That's big.
That's a huge fall for a guy that's a consensus #1 player in the draft before all these things. And like I said, there's time where he could still figure it out. There was one team that said, hey, we've dealt with these character situations before. We're comfortable. We'll get him in the right environment and everything will be fine. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when you're the projected #1 pick, can't fall lower than 3, and now you might fall out of the top 8 to 10 picks, that's significant.
Okay. Appreciate you, Connor. Thank you so much, brother.
All right,
Thank you, guys. Talk soon.
Thank you. Can't wait to see what happens, man. The Jets.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.